Hey everybody, welcome back to another Dark Avengers comic book review. We got a huge stack of comics and books that I'd like to be discussing in this episode. And lots of news, lots of stuff going on. For those of you who are interested in knowing what the stuff is, check out the update video that I posted before this. But now we're doing the comic review. Before we get into the comics, I would like to mention though, I am going to be changing up my reviews a little bit. Less spoilers, so this way it entices you guys to actually want the book or not. Because I've gotten a few emails from people who get the same comics I do, and they're like, "Oh, you told me what happened and I didn't finish reading it yet." So I'm going to be a little bit more discreet in what I say and what I don't say. I'm not going to basically sum the entire book up from end to end from now on. I'm going to give brief spoilers. This way, for those of you who haven't read it yet, you're going to actually be able to read it without me spoiling the entire book for you. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Now, you guys know my panel. Amber, who has a stack of books she's going to be doing. Joe and Kevin, who are still working on ideas. Yeah. Mike, who actually has news this week in the movie world. And yeah.
Find out and you shall see.
So let's just jump right in. Before we actually get into the comic books that were released this week, which was the week of Wednesday, January 12th, 2011, I'd like to get into this huge stack of books that we're going to try to get through as soon as we can so we can get into the comic books. First off, for those of you who don't understand why I'm doing this book, check out the update video once again, or you'll just catch on after a while. Radical Comics, this book is my absolute favorite book from the entire Radical Publications company. Radical Comics presents Aladdin, Legacy of the Lost. It's a basic, it's not even a retelling, it's a, yeah, no it is. It's a retelling of Aladdin, but it's really, really awesome. It's definitely not a kid's book. Anything from Radical Comics, I must give this disclaimer now, is definitely not for kids, and you guys are going to see why. Radical books are more along the lines for adults, maybe teenagers, because of there is cursing in almost every book. Except there's definite cursing. In one book that I will be doing in my future review, there's nudity and there is definite gore. Definite gore. So I would definitely not suggest you guys getting this for your little sisters or your little brother. So if you're getting this expecting Disney, I'm sorry, that ain't happening. There's no Jafar and Iago here. As a matter of fact, Jafar's name in this book is Quazim. They actually use, this is a retelling of the actual story, and it is told amazing. This book is awesome. I would highly, highly recommend it to everybody. There are a few things that are different. Like I said, this is an adult book. This is not no kiddie book. There is this is the entire story of Aladdin finding the lamp. Quazim, who is, for those of you who know it from Disney, Jafar, who takes the lamp at some point, and then Aladdin has to go get the lamp back and save the princess. And for those of you who don't know this character, hit yourself in the back of the head, Sinbad the sailor is actually in this. And you have mythical creatures as like the griffins, you have the Kraken. For those of you who don't know, bless you, it's true, the Kraken, I'll show you a picture of the Kraken as soon as I get to that page. You have genies, you have mythical creatures, you have everything here. It's awesome. Here, this is what a Kraken looks like. You have sand sharks, everything. This book I would highly, highly recommend. 10 out of 5 stars. That's how high this book was. Awesome. The artwork is crisp. It's beautiful. I mean, I could turn to any page, and I could give you an awesome artwork. Yeah, I want to get one. Like, check out this artwork. I mean, come on. It's beautiful. It's beautiful artwork. It's a beautiful book. It's very well written. I would definitely recommend this book. If you guys are interested in seeing an adult, more for mature reader, or a retelling of Aladdin, which I'm sure half of you actually might be interested in this, it's worth the money. It's inexpensive. For a book this thick, it's inexpensive. Absolutely check this book out. You want to see it, I know. Look at it. Go ahead. Check it out. And while we're on the topic of Radical, a few series that are actually going on in Radical right now that are actually only in 2 parts, so you guys can actually catch up on. First off, Driver of the Dead. I love this miniseries so far. It's about a man, he's like an exorcist, he kills zombies. Absolutely awesome. It's like Supernatural meets The Exorcist. Absolutely check it out. Really, really cool. This guy's like, he's like a kick-ass, he's like the Punisher, but he kills zombies. Cool. Check this out. The artwork is, once again, beautiful. All the artwork here, you actually, some of the characters, like, this woman looks like Queen Latifah. I gotta show you it. Hold on.
I think I saw it before when you were going through the pages.
Yeah, you saw her, right?
Yeah, she did.
Where is she? I think I love it.
Possible they might have used the face, you know?
Yeah, see?
Wow, yeah.
It does, see? It's amazing. Radical Publications, a lot of their books are books that they're hoping... It's awesome. These books are actually, they're not just comic books. They're actually books that they're trying to get made into movies. Actually, Radical Publications was in the New York Times. I have the article. I'll actually post a link to the Radical Comics article in the description box below. I promise I'll put the description up for this video on purpose so that you guys can see it. They actually were in the New York Times, I believe it last week. They were in the New York Times. I have the link. I'll send it to you. I'll put it in for you guys. If you guys are interested, check it out. Another demon-focused book. I found it interesting. Ryder on the Storm, parts 1 and 2. Really interesting, really awesome. He has like a healing ability. He's a demon. He's living in the human world. He's a demon that's trying to, like, he's human, but he's also like he's the same thing as a driver. He's a demon, like an exorcist kind of thing. Really awesome. I enjoy this. I really enjoyed this. Now this book I really didn't enjoy too much, so I skimmed. So I really can't give you guys a really good description. But for those of you who are interested, After Dark, number 1 and 2 is also out. I would say definitely check out the series. It's interesting. The artwork is beautiful though. I would absolutely. Are you done scanning them? Yeah. The artwork once again is beautiful. I have no complaints when it comes to Radical Comics. Their artwork is definitely second to none. Very realistic. Wouldn't you agree?
Very.
Very realistic artwork. They have tons of books, and you're going to be seeing tons of their books on my review. Because I'll be honest with you, 90% of the books I love. I have to be very careful though what I show though, because I know how YouTube is very they're very picky. Can't be too gory. Can't be this. It can't be that.
Say, a lot of these faces like lifelike, like they took real people.
Really, it looks like exactly. It looks like they took real people and they stuck them in the books. Beautiful, absolutely. Like I said, I would definitely recommend. Because I'm not gonna put these with the comic stack. Driver of the Dead, I would absolutely say check out. Once again, Ryder on the Storm, another book I would definitely say check it out. I believe book 2 sold out. Book 2 sold out on a few comic sites that I order comics from. So if you get the chance to grab this story, check it out. It was really, really good. After Dark, I leave up to you guys. It didn't interest me. I'll check out the final book. It really wasn't that good, but once again, I leave that up to you guys. And Aladdin, absolutely 100% I recommend it. It was great. Okay, now jumping into one book I got that Amber actually found for me from DC Comics. I have the comics, but it's always nice to have little hardcovers. Superman Camelot Falls. Of course. It was an okay little series. It actually is a 2-book series. Basically, Superman has to stop helping civilization or else it's going to fall. That's what it basically concludes with. It was alright. It wasn't exactly... Superman hasn't really had a stable, good storytelling for a while. The artwork is great. The story is the story has its moments of up and down. You get to see Superman get beat up a bit. It had its good moments as well as its bad moments. It had its Smallville artist moment where the artist actually tried to draw Superman or Clark like Tom Welling from Smallville. The artwork is nice. That's one thing I have to say. It was very nice. Would I recommend it? If you can get this book for like $5, I would say check it out. But if not, I wouldn't say it's worth 20 bucks unless you're like following Superman like crazy. I have the comic series, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, 2 books from Marvel, really quick. X-Men Original Sin is about Wolverine. His son, Daken, in this story, lost his memories, and Wolverine wants to try to save him, like Xavier saved Wolverine when he first joined the X-Men. It was really good. And in the end of this, it actually involves Wolverine origin. At the end of this book, Wolverine and Daken go after Romulus. For those of you who remember my review back when, they're basically in this book ready to kill. They're going off to kill him. Now Wolverine has all his memories back. And also Secret Invasion. We all know what this led into. Secret Invasion led into the Dark Reign, which then led into the Heroic Age. What's the difference? I have no idea. Basically, Norman Osborn is the hero here, and this is where Tony Stark relinquishes his title and gives Norman Osborn control over everything, and the world went to hell after that. Now, getting into this week's comic books, finally. I'm sure a few people have fast-forwarded through a bit of this already. First off, continuing the Stan Lee story, Starborn #2. Now, the action is starting. Benjamin and Tara are running from the Collective. And in the very beginning, you see the Collectives talking to the Network, which is another group of bad guys. and they all want to kill Benjamin because he is the heir of the king, the father. And basically, she wants to get him off the planet to a safe place, and he's finally figuring out that. But what about? I thought this was all fake. She's like, well, maybe when they erased, we formatted your memory, certain pieces came out. He's like, oh yeah, I understand that, and really he doesn't. And he gets his suit. The artwork is beautiful, and it leaves you off with the network actually attacking both him and Tara. Really good. Really beautiful artwork. The artwork is great. The story actually is picking up. Somebody actually commented on last week's review. I'm being honest with you guys, I'm not giving a conclusive first, second, and third standing on these three Stan Lee books until the entire first story arc is done. Right now, all three are on the exact same standings. I like all three on an equal standings. All three are great. Because I know somebody likes Starborn best out of all three. I like all three right now. I really can't give them a place yet. As much as I'd love to give The Traveler first place, I have to see how all the other story arcs... Because The Traveler's first arc could end terribly, and this could end great.
That's fair, though.
So I'm going to wait till the first story arc is done. Now, from Image Comics, I'm sure a few people actually grabbed this. A few people don't know who this is. I talked to a few friends like, who's this person? Spawn, number 200. Now, I've been away...
back.
I haven't read... My friend in high school used to bring Spawn comics... not high school, junior high. Used to bring Spawn comics into... school, and I used to just skim them. I mean, but when I heard Spawn was turning 200, I had to grab this book. And I actually would like to jump into the Spawn series, and I actually might, but this is where I'm going to get a little weird. I didn't know that there's a new Spawn now. For those of you who read Spawn, I had no idea that Al is no longer Spawn. The original guy left, and a new guy took over the Spawn costume, and wow, yeah, he left. The guy Al left, and it's a white dude, and that's this white guy. I don't know. I don't even know who he is. Look, the artwork's beautiful. Jim Lee did the cover. It's this guy. This guy is the new Spawn, apparently. That's the new Spawn.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a picture of the old Spawn. Makes an appearance in here. He's actually. This is the. That's you know the old Spawn.
Yeah,
I know. That's the old Spawn. For those of you who don't know who Spawn is, and then this guy is the new Spawn, and they're basically talking about. Basically, he's passing the torch down to this guy in this. It's a flashback apparently, and then there's a huge ending that rounds everything off. I like Spawn. I'm being honest with you. They actually advertise how to catch up to the series. You can get the 8 volumes, the 2 books, or the 2 huge hardcover books.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Amber saw a few Spawn books in the comic book store. She went and bought things. So I'm going to try to catch up to all 200 books. Because now I want to know what happened exactly. Will I be continuing Spawn? Most likely. I'm actually interested enough to actually continue the Spawn series. This was really good. I would definitely suggest this to everybody. Actually, the writer, I can't remember his name for the life of me, Farland something. He was at a signing in California, at a convention recently, signing the number 200s. I would actually absolutely say check out Spawn 200. It starts off in the middle of a fight though, so I really can't say it's a jump on point. I guess the next issue would be more of a jump on, but grab it for the number, if anything, that's what I did. And now once again, the only Marvel book in this stack of comics this week as compared to all the DC, Amazing Spider-Man 651. Basically Spider-Man can't steal the Vibranium back, so he negates it. And Black Cat and Wilson Fisk get into a little confrontation, and basically in the end of the whole issue, the Fisk Tower is destroyed, and Wilson Fisk goes and works with the Hand, and Spider-Man's costume changes color 3 times. I gotta show this. It was hilarious. First is the green costume where he's invisible. Then is the red costume where basically he can't hear anything and they can't hear him. It basically blocks out all sound, so the goblin can't hurt him with his sonic laugh. Then there's the white costume, which basically is like the original costume. He can hear everything, he can talk, and he's visible. And I think this is the only time we're going to see that costume. And then there's a backstory, which leads into the next 3-part arc with the Scorpion. The Scorpion gets his costume back, and here's his new costume. That's his new costume.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's very nice. Wait, she just bad. Alright. Amber has to walk out for a second. And absolutely check this out. Spider-Man's actually been pretty good the past story arc.
Like
Big Time is definitely picking up Spider-Man. Sorry for the little confusion there. Amber had to step out for a second. Absolutely check out the first arc. I'm glad to say that the original costume's coming back in the next issue.
Wow.
And Amazing Spider-Man has been amazing lately, whereas the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man has been complete suckitude lately. Now, I was originally going to pass this over to Amber, but since Amber stepped out, I will pass the camera now over to Michael before I get into DC Comics, where Michael can actually... Since we're talking about Spider-Man, this is actually a very opportune moment to talk about Spider-Man.
Okay, as you guys know, there is a new Spider-Man movie that is coming out in next year or so.
Actually, we're getting the battery meter, so let's actually...
It was actually showing that, just so you know.
Alright, so guys, we're going to go into the next part, and Mike's going to lead it off with Amber, and I'm going to conclude my DC comic run. I don't want the camera to die out, because then you guys know it's going to just cut him off in the middle, and I don't want that to happen.
So we'll talk about the Spider-Man, the new movie, and
the next
part 2.
Alright, so stick around for part 2, guys.
See ya.